Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I wanted to talk about a couple of things in this video. It's Easter, or it was Easter a couple of minutes ago. I made a couple of things today. I made a strawberry cobbler and a couple other types of food. I prepared chicken the day before and I ate a baked potato today too. So I wanted to share the strawberry cobbler recipe. Not too much into detail, but I'll put a picture of my finished dessert in as a thumbnail. I was really happy with it, especially because the strawberries that I got were discounted, not because they weren't good. They had the grocery store had a 2-day sale for the strawberries that just came in, and they were initially $4.58 for a pound or container of the strawberries. And um, for those days, it was $1.50. So I got 3 of them. Because usually it takes like 2 containers to put into like a dessert that has that fruit as like the primary fruit or ingredient in there. And I used 2 of the 3. I would say that I could have used less of them. It was recommended to use fresh fruit instead of the dried ones because of the viscosity, and then it would affect the moisture content. I I don't I've never had a strawberry cobbler before or a cobbler dessert, but by the ingredients and the things that were being said and the what the cobbler is, I had an idea of what it would be. So it wasn't a tedious recipe. So I didn't use a skillet like they recommended. Um, that could have affected the temperature and rate of how the cobbler was baking. So I ended up putting the cobbler or keeping the cobbler in the oven for uh, I would say significantly more than what they were recommending. So I would keep that in mind if you do the recipe and then you check the temperature, just because the 2 pounds of strawberries, it's a lot of strawberries and it's good. Um, but moisture is one of the factors that you really look out for when it comes to baking. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And because I was actually going towards that section to get blueberries because I was thinking maybe I can make blueberry pie. I don't make it super often just because for the amount of blueberries that you get, and even that, you could put more blueberries. I don't, I like a good balance of having a decent amount of fruit in there because I love crust for pies. So blueberries aren't like super cheap. So um, right next to the blueberries were the strawberries, and of course I chose the strawberries at that time. Um, those were the main things for the recipe. And lactate products are so amazing because, again, you could make your favorite foods or delicious foods with the substitutions that you need. And if you hear stuff in the background, it's my washer. I'll have to put my clothes in the dryer in a couple minutes. And they a lot of these types of recipes, especially when it involves fruit, um, recommend to add lemon juice. A lot of times I don't add the lemon juice because I feel, especially if you use the fresh fruit, there's already a tartness to it. And sometimes if you put the amount of lemon juice or even slightly less than what they recommend or in the ingredients, it can turn out sour. So I would say that, I mean, it depends definitely on what you're looking for the taste, but I think it tastes perfectly okay without it. And I did put a whole cup, 1 cup whole milk of the lactate whole milk. I do like whole milk, and um, I get 2% a lot too. So I heard in other countries where, mm, or maybe in different parts of the US, there are more percentages of milk that you could purchase. I thought that was interesting. Um, and I'm interested to taste and see the difference if I were to use plant-based milk. So that was the first thing I was going to talk about. I was also thinking, I don't know if I will use, because I technically have another account that it's not used that often because this is the one where I'm just like, well, it has a lot of stuff on it already, might as well. But it's me, myself, and I most of the time, so I tend to fill my time up a lot with hobbies and things that I like to do. So you see like a clusterfuck of like random things that I do. So hopefully it's not too bombarding and I mean it's an entertainment for myself at this point because it helps the time go by too, and I also want to use my time with something that will benefit me, I suppose, in terms of what I like to do. Um, there are some things that I purchased, and then I'll go into the finished fingerless glove that pair that I finished that I mentioned the other day, and there are some works in progress that I made a good amount of progress on that I want to show. So, for the things that I purchased, I actually, so the shop sometimes gives like extra stuff, like for 3D printed spinning products. And I ordered one more bobbin, and I was given another bobbin, which is super convenient for me because I was thinking, well, I technically have the bobbins that came with the wheel, but I wanted to retire them because I don't want want to damage them. And the bobbins are really convenient, and then you can adjust them so they fit well with the wheel, like the more that you adjust it when you sand the inside. I I was thinking about getting two, but I ordered one because of that, because I have other bobbins, but now that I have two, I would like to 3-ply, or I would like to do other types of plying with my fiber. So that's exciting for me. And I'm continuing my Chiagu journey, I suppose, because the Chiagu set is the first full set that I used, and I used other needles before that, but that one um, kind of expanded the things that I would make, and because before that I would just have like my main one was a size 6 needle, mainly because it was like a fuchsia color, and I love the fuchsia color um, shades, I suppose. So that was like the main needle that I was working with, and I would just knit everything with that needle size, or and then I had like maybe other ones that I got from the thrift store. So when I was gifted the Chogu set from my parents, I was excited because it just opened up the other possibilities of knitting different things. I wanted to try the Chogu 4-inch interchangeable tips because my favorite needle set is the Knitter's Pride Ginger Shorties, which are 4 inches. The actual tip, not the size, and that's what she said. And I got some of the Chaogu ones when I went to a yarn store. I have some yarn stores near me. Some are much further than others, but um, so I got 3 sizes to try out. I got a size 7, 6, and 4. I'm already using the size 6 for my sleeves for my Sleipnir, and I have made a good amount of progress in the Sleipnir considering on the second sleeve, considering you're decreasing, so it's going to go faster. So they came in packets separately, which is nice. They're individual packets. Um, they're almost there, and I am pleased that I was able to try them before maybe getting a set or half a set, because they do like half sets with like size 2 to 8, and then there's the full sets. This one's a full set, but I added the shorter ones because there's room for adding extra needles. So I put the 4-inch ones here, and I'm using the size 6 right now. And I'm gonna have to put my laundry in the dryer because it's gonna keep beeping. So I say that the 4-inch needles are almost there because they are more slippery than the wooden needles. So I tend to have a different grip when I am knitting. So you can see. So the 4-inch, this is the same size as I said with the Knitter's Pride shorties, the ones that I really like. But I have been kind of sliding off towards the end, and I like to have it kind of secure over here. I think that's one of the main things that I like to have with those needles. So I'll try one more interchangeable individual tip, except a 5-inch, and I'll see how that one is. I'll Um, and then I think I'm just gonna try it in the store if I like it, since it's a little ways away from me. Then if they have a half set, then I'll get the half set. Otherwise, I'll just get them um, on their own. Which I was happy that they had the other lengths, because a lot of times they just have the sets online, and then there's like the 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, the ones that I've seen, and that's specifically for like the chow goose. The Lick Needles, the only ones that I've seen in person that you can get individually, only that I've seen so far, are the ones that are like the full-sized ones, and I really like the ones that are the shorter ones, and um, for specific reasons, and then one of the reasons being that I that it's more versatile to use the shorter needles than to use the longer ones unless I'm doing a magic loop. So I have it, the size 6 on here, and I've been making my ways and really happy with the progress I've made on it. So, and I have the magic loop with the cord connector on here. But the project has been flowing with the chagus, which I do appreciate. Um, because at some point I would like to have a main needle set that is one where I wouldn't expect it to break as easily. And I've had the Knitter's Pride for a while. It's mainly the ones that are closer to like the toothpick size, because the ones that I've broken are the threes and fours. So, um, and I haven't gotten lower than a three, especially for like DPNs. Because I also have the Knitter's Pride DPNs, which I do use for my sleeves. Um, I have used for my sleeves, not for this one. And the other needles that I'm using the twos for my socks, which is a surprise for me that I'm knitting socks. And maybe I'll knit more in the future. But I am knitting the free pattern by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. She does a lot of patterns. This is one of her free ones, and then she also has a video to go along with it. The Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop has the directions timestamps for the video, and I also have knit the DK weight ones too. Um, in the past, but this is the first pair technically that's for myself. So aside from it wouldn't be the same pattern, but when I knit Christmas stockings, I really loved Christmas stockings. But I think what is more of a mm, I guess game changer for me is the Norwegian Pearl. It just makes it go so much faster because I prefer holding the yarn with my left hand for if I'm doing everything else aside from color work because I do the color work with both my hands. As you can see, it goes up to where my calf starts and it fits super well. This is Cascade Yarns. I got this over the holidays, but I started it around the holidays and then I figured that since it's a holiday yarn, I would just knit it around that time. And initially, I started the pattern as another one where it was like a shorty sock, but it had a different heel. I really love the this one. So if you could see this. I love this yarn. I am picky about sock yarn specifically, and with other types of yarn for like garment knitting. I do like the rustic yarn. Um, I mainly I like the idea that it's going to be durable and it's going to last a long time because I feel that if it's only going to last maybe a year or two, I don't think it would be practical for me to knit it. At least for me, I want something that's going to last a long time. For socks, I like something that is softer and not as prickly. I guess my feet are more sensitive. I didn't really account for that because I could wear a lot of different types of fibers, like as a sweater, like a cardigan and stuff. And I haven't had a problem with putting it against my skin and having a reaction. Um, so with the Cascade yarns, this is Heritage prints. I really like their Heritage prints. It's 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And I'm using the size 2 because it's not technically the lowest size that I have, but I don't really go further than that, like in terms of me enjoying knitting with it usually just because I think I like having a plump sport and up. I really like knitting with DK and worsted, medium weight, and I don't mind bulky. I haven't had a problem with knitting it. I think with the like fingering weight yarn, sometimes with my nails I have a harder time gripping them, and I'm not going to cut my nails. I have a sheet stitch marker here, and I've been using the light bulb markers, stitch markers. They're standard, but they come in sets, and I do like them. They aren't offensive to me, not like other markers are, but they're noticeable, but I don't think they're too in your face for me. And since I finished the healing gusset, and I did all the decreases. Now I am back to the count that I need for my size that I'm knitting. So just keep knitting until I get to the toe, and then I'll start another sock. I still feel like it'll be more of a long-term project, but I am happy nonetheless that I did get that far with them. I wanted to show my finished gloves for me, and um, so this is my pair. I did make them slightly shorter. I do like my gloves fitted. Next time when I knit gloves, when I'm gonna sell them, I might do a larger size because maybe someone would want more room, but I'll put the palm circumference and even their circumference where your thumb is here, because this pattern specifically, and I'm not giving it away because you could see it, and if you're not a knitter you could notice it too. There isn't a gusset here where it expands it. It's a straight pattern, so you'll get this stretch over here, and I'll show that when I wear them. I felt really fancy when I wore these, to be honest. Um, and I'll weave in all the ends for the ones that I do end up selling, because I just weaved in the ends that that people would see if I were to wear them out. But honestly, I still have ends in here, but I just tuck them in. So this is my pair, or these are knit with the wooden needles. I do really like the consistency of the chow goose, and again, I really jive with the chow goose, and the chow goose are really popular too, and a lot of people enjoy them for good reason because they are a higher quality, not like the Knitter's Pride isn't, but it depends on what you're looking for. I do love wooden needles, but at this point, I'm not sure um, if how many hours I could go knitting and then something happens to the needles. So I'll see. I still love them, and I do have a good amount of needles for them, and then an unopened set, but I don't really open. I don't like using my unopened sets of stuff. It's usually just kind of like the very just in case, like the super, like backup. So I love these, and um, I just felt fancy when I had them on. I would say that there was a little bit of not a slow startup to the fourth one, because the main thing was to get to the chart after the braid here, and again, not really giving the pattern away because you could see that with the Latvian braid. I was hopefully it'll. So I'm using this one has the well, I have the two Emma ball bags here. I have a third one too, but this one has alpacas and sheep on it. And then the other one has puffins. And I have another one with puffins, but I wanted to get a specific one that I didn't buy. It was like the puffins like on the shoreline. But maybe when I live in Europe, then I'll just end up getting it. Because I'm really, I'm trying not to buy too much, but I'm also passing stuff along to um, a lot of appliances. I'm just like not even bothering to keep. So I'm making a trip up to my godmother's to see what she wants, and then I'll do what I do with the other things. But in terms of the fourth glove, so this one is longer than the one that I made for myself, and it has extra rows down here, and then extra rows here. So it's going to be, and this is with it not blocked. So the yarn hasn't bloomed yet. So this is a little longer. I think it might be more comfortable for the thumb too. And the reason, sorry, I just said it like 5 times. The reason why it was a little slow starting with the fourth one is because so the yarn that I'm using is another Cascades yarn. It's the Asian tweed, and I love the colorways. And once I blocked it, it became super soft, and I love the texture of it. The only thing, and I mean, again, I love the rustic textures of stuff too, but I was pleased with it. Um, so when you do like the break test, I'm not gonna do it on this one, but maybe I'll do it on the finished one. So I'll show this maybe on this. This yarn is fragile, so I'll just do this, and it breaks. So I was hoping after the wash and after this, like with the color work, and I do like color work, and I watch out for my tension and to make sure that the floats are spaced enough to where, well, spaced or have enough, I guess, room so when you do put them on and there's a stretch on it, it's not going to be so fragile, or it's not going to pucker, or the things that you don't want a float to do. So with this yarn, I was also thinking, well, with use, it should it should felt to where it kind of blends, like the floats kind of blends with the glove. So, um, I would say that they are a little delicate, and I was thinking, well, should I start over and do the gloves in another yarn? Because I'll just show this to give another example. So this is a different weight, but essentially it's not breaking. So I'm going to continue it, And then for the other pairs, I'll use other ones. I'm not just gonna knit this pattern, but that was something to keep in mind. And this one is slightly wider too. So I'll see that I love my stoppers here. So the other stuff is more like metaphysical stuff. So I know that I do like a bunch of random things. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't want to listen to this part, because I know like some people they know stuff about you, but they just like don't really care about other things that you might like. Um, so it's fine. I don't care. But with that being said, I did get a deck, and I haven't gotten a deck in a little bit. Maybe a couple months ago, like in January, I got the Tarot of Tales, which I do really enjoy, but I was thinking about laminating the deck too. I didn't want to get another copy because um, the the deck would have to be mended regardless since it's chipping. But the deck is wonderful to work with. I enjoy working with it, and I really like really not necessarily abstract, but you could definitely see the artist's interpretation of a card to a point where it's, I guess, barely traditional. So, on the other hand, I do like older decks, as I like the decks that I wanted to get when I would purchase decks, like the collection that I have. Luckily, since they're more vintage, there aren't too many to consider, but there are some. And I saw this deck in the metaphysical shop that I normally like to go to, because I was in the area, and that's where I got the strawberries, because one of the supermarkets that I like to go to is there, this specific location. And I saw that they had the Terror of the Old Path, and I like to see what type of cardstock or like how new the newer editions look, because a lot of times like they might get a different texture and cardstock completely to where it changes the coloration of the images of the card. Luckily for this edition, so initially made in 1990, this one is the 2015 one. This is pretty close to the original cardstock, I would say, just based off of, again, the colorations that you would see in the for the pictures on the cards. I would say that I'm going to make a case for it. And I have so many little white books that I haven't um, thrown away, but I don't use them, but I don't know about throwing thrown them away, so maybe I might um, do something with them. But if I'm not using them, there is probably not the point. But this is the back of the card. And I do like different types of decks. I usually like the fairy decks or the Celtic or um, I like theme decks that go towards a specific tradition or practice. So there was the Slavic Legends. I love that deck. Um, and I did get the I was gonna say I was about to say the Buckland Romani, but I didn't get that one. Mainly because well, I am moving as I said, and the main seller that sells that deck are sellers from Ukraine, and I completely understand it, like what's about the shipping if it with everything that's going on there. Um, so because even with the Slavic Legends Tarot, so that's a deck that comes from Poland, and I had to go to the post office for that. And the post office was making sure that my ID had my address on it. That was like the address that it was sent to. So, if they do that again, I might have to ship it to like my godmother's or somewhere where they could. I would have to put their name on it if they have to go to the post office to pick it up. But it's it's completely okay right now because I definitely have decks. But I did get the Terror of the Golden Wheel the other day. Just because it was such a at a discounted price because me with the discounts, and um, I I always thought that deck was so um, there's like a whimsical, airy type of energy or artwork that went along with it. Almost it's almost fey, but it I feel like it has to do with like the artwork with like the brush strokes and the colors, like um very light and flowy. I would say dominant type of artwork would be like air and water, I would say. Not aggressive. Um because I liked well, I knew that I loved the artwork, but it is also because there's the cards with the spinning wheels, so I was like, I'm gonna, I'm gonna go for it. I know, Nancy, she recently made a video, and um, there's like a certain like crew that you have, especially when you were more active in like the tarot reader community or like other communities that you might have been active on with in or on YouTube. So she was one of the people that I connected with. And so, I popped in and said hi, but she loves the Tarot of the Golden Wheel back when I was more active in the tarot reader community. Now it's kind of like in a different way. Sorry, I'll show the cards. And it's just been interesting because I really have been enjoying, at least for me, just reading with the cards and not necessarily doing like, oh, I'm sorry, um, haul videos. And although I showed some things that I got, um, I love that there's still a softness to it. Um, but based off of things that, happen in life and in the world, it kind of really directed the things that I am doing now. I actually got a vision today, and I have said that I get visions. A lot of times, a common time where I get visions are when I am about to wake up, like when I'm sleeping and I'm about to wake up. And it was a vision of a divine being, and she's floating, and she had a veil, and she was wearing all white, and her eyes were closed, but it was really like it was gentle. And that's the vision that I had before I woke up. And I love, learning about different things. And but this year specifically is has been definitely different because there are other things that are expanding in that area of my life. So, um, sorry, I keep saying I say that, and there was something else that I got. I was in the grocery store, and this vase stood out to me. And I got it. I'll show it in a second. It's it's like well known. So let me just show it. But as I said, it definitely gave some direction to what I am doing now. So sorry. And I thought it was unusual for me to, you know, get it because I would say I'm pretty eclectic with things. But yeah, I like to read about stuff and understand. So this is Our Lady of Guadalupe. And it just, there was something pure about it that I was that I noticed. So just interesting. So last I I it's a cat's on it. This is technically like a knit object, but it was a gift from my godmother and I love it. Sorry, my foot's falling asleep. Um, so it's an asymmetric cardigan. I got this like 2 years ago from her. And oh my god. So I really love putting this or pairing this with different things that I wear. It's one of my favorite cardigans. And it snags somewhere. Luckily, it's in a place where there there's a neckline that it folds over in a way because there technically isn't like a neckline for this, but um, oh, so it was like upside down right over here. I'm not sure what happens, but it snagged over here, and it's been a couple years and I haven't fixed it. But when I wear it, I love wearing it. So I just had to work on it. Um, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was interesting. I hope everyone had a happy holiday if you celebrate whatever holiday. And I'll see you in another video. Bye. Oh no, sorry. Last thing before I go, or I guess two things. So I found my Jasper that was gifted to me by a friend, Cynthia, who we actually met on YouTube, and we were friends for, or commenting, and we're friends for a long time, like a couple years, and that was it. And then my parents retired to the area that she lives in. So when I visited my parents last, it was like, well, oh, we'll meet up. And we finally met up after like, how long was it? Like a really long time. Um, like maybe over 5 years. And it was so cool. So that that's really fun. Um, And then when I was at the metaphysical shop, I was thinking about getting a crystal, which I don't usually do because I'm not, uh, I don't really get too many crystals, but I saw this one and it just was, I felt like it was me because I've done this combination of colors for a while too, and now it's more significant. Um, and it's also like a, I would say an airier stone, like a it's not necessarily a fairy stone because I mean they're what you would consider fairy stones. I guess is up to you, but I have some fairy stones. So this one comes in different colors. I chose this one, and I will make it into a jewelry piece. So I did the macrame on the other one, and it's the Rainbow Aura Quartz. So I'll just quickly say, also called titanium aura quartz or flame aura quartz. Titanium and clear quartz are heated and sealed in a vacuum, combining the high vibration metal with the amplification properties of quartz. Works to balance all chakras, helps one to retain the ability to think on one's feet, be witty or charming in high pressure situations. Helps one adapt to change with agility, shows the beauty and harmony in all situations. So it just felt like me in a crystal. So that was it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.